You are welcome to today's class. And just before we kick start, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I'll say please subscribe. And my handle is at Master Data with Dave. And today's objectives, we have three different objectives for today. We'll be looking at some more functions. We'll be looking at the SUMIFS, AVERAGEIFS, and then the COUNTIFS. We'll be looking at tips for creating dashboards, bringing it all together in a simple dashboard, best practices for reporting, what is it that you should look out for when you're creating your dashboard. And then we'll be looking at a sample dashboard, what should be there, what should not be there. And then that would be it for today. Right, the first function we want to look at today is the SUMIFS. SUMIFS. SUMIFS is, looking for the addition or the sum of a particular range of data with a particular set of conditions. That means you are saying if these conditions are fulfilled, then give me the total sum. And it is bringing the different functions into one. That means you're not using if this, then you're not breaking it down like that. You're just using one function and then you're putting the conditions there, and Excel is summing it up together for you. So let's go ahead. These are sample data, and of course, for us to begin our analysis, we need to convert it to a table to make it more interactive, more interesting. So what do? You can just do Control T. It highlights your entire data, and then you select if your data has headers, and then I click OK. Now I have my table, but some of them are not showing properly. So I can just select the entire data set and then double click. So I have everything, in view. Now I can see everything easily. Right. We want to look at SUMIFS. So I come to this place and, a blank cell, and then I say is equals to SUM if, then I'm choosing it, SUMIFS. And it's telling me that it adds a cell specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. So I double click on it. And then what is the sum range? What's the range that you want to sum? So I want to sum this revenue, right? So I highlight the particular cells or the column, the entire column. Then I do comma. But if you want to use the entire column, let's say I want to use the entire column, so I highlight the entire revenue column. Right. I put a comma. Then it's asking me for the criteria range 1. What is the criteria range 1? Now, my criteria I want to put, the condition I want to put is under the region column. So if I select the region, I select the entire region column and I put a comma. And then what is the criteria? It's asking me what then is the criteria. Now, my criteria is I want for the NORTH, NORTH. Then I put a comma. What is the criteria range 2? Criteria range 2, that is my product colon. Then I select the product colon. Then I come back, I put a comma. Then it's asking me for the criteria range 2. My criteria range 2 is a product. Then what is my criteria? My second criteria. My second criteria is I want to sum up every product that is called a laptop. Right? Now look at the formula again. I'm telling Excel to give me the summation of the revenue. If under the region column, my region is North, and if under the product column, I want product that is laptop. So give me the total sum. Then I close my brackets and then I press enter. So if you filter down North, I click OK, and then I filter down laptop and I click OK. If you do the sum, highlight it, the sum is 19,195,218. Okay, so let me remove 195,218. Let me clear everything. That is what I have here, 195,218. That means my SUMIFS formula is accurate. So for SUMIFS, if you look at the formula again, the first part of the formula is telling you where do you want the summation to come from. And from my Excel, from my data here, I want the sum to come from the revenue column. So I select the revenue first. I put a comma. It is asking me what then is the condition. Remember that SUMIFS, you can put more than one condition. So the first condition is I want the region to be north. So I select the region column, comma, and then I put the condition in quotation north. I put a comma as well. What's the second condition? I want my product to be laptop. So I select the column products. That's I highlight the data in that column, comma, and then the condition is laptop, and then I close it. Of course, if I have more conditions, I can just continue putting the conditions, comma, 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 until I get to the final one. Now, the difference between SUMIF and SUMIFS is that SUMIF will only allow one condition, but SUMIFS will give you allowance for more than one condition. So that means you want to see the region that is north or the region that is south, and then the product that is laptop, and then the product that or the sales rep that is Ethan. You can put all those conditions and then it will put them into consideration before giving you the summation. Right, the next one we are looking at now is average ifs. Remember that the difference between average if and average ifs is the conditions, the number of arguments, number of conditions. So in average if, you have just one condition. In average ifs, you can have more than one conditions. So I'll put is equals to average ifs, double click it, and it's telling me what is the average range. Average range, I want the average to come from the revenue. So I want the average to come from the revenue. So I highlight the revenue. Then I put a comma. What is the criteria range? So I want my region to be the east. So I have selected the range where I want the average to come from. The next point is what then is the condition? So the condition is that the region should be east. And then my product should be, let's say, laptop. So I have done the range for the average, comma, then I select the region, I put a comma, then the criteria is I want it to be east. I close it. Of course, I have to put it in quotation marks. Then I put a comma. Then what's the second condition? It's my product. So I highlight the product column. I go back to the formula. I put a comma. And then I want the product to be laptop. And then I close the brackets. Look at it very well. Equals to average ifs, table 1 revenue, comma, table 1 region. Of course, the revenue is where I want the average to come from. The condition now is the region should be east and the product should be laptop. Then I press enter. And that's the average. If you do the same formula, you check, it will still be the same thing. So the next function we want to look at is the COUNTIFS. And of course, COUNTIFS and COUNTIF. The COUNTIF, you can only put one condition. COUNTIFS, you can put more than one conditions. And it's similar to, the SUMIFS and the average ifs. You just put is equals to COUNTIFS, double click. And then what is the criteria range 1? I want to count the region. And then put a comma. What is the criteria? The criteria is south. That's OTTH. Then I put a comma. Then I want units sold, which is the second condition. I put a comma. And then what is the condition? Now, what is the criteria? I'm saying that the units sold should be greater than 50. Then I put it back in quotation mark. And then I close it. Look at it very well. COUNTIFS is equals to COUNTIFS. Open the brackets. What is the colon I want? The average. It is the region. And condition is that the region should be south. The second condition is that the unit should be greater than 50. And look at the way I put the greater than 50, it has to be in quotation mark because it's not just a single, it's not just digits. The greater sign should also be in quotation mark. So that's why greater than 50 has to be in quotation mark. Then I press enter, and that is 10. And truly, if you check, if you put on a filter, and we filter it down to the east, we're looking at the south, sorry. Click on the south, okay. And then we said units sold should be greater than 50. If we sort it from largest to smallest, and then we count, we can see that it is 10. And that means our formula is correct. Right. So we're moving on to dashboards in Microsoft Excel. We can create dashboards as well in Excel. That means a summary of our data findings. So if I say what is a dashboard, I'll say a dashboard is a visual representation of key data points and performance metrics designed to provide at a glance insights and support data-driven decision making. I'll take that again. A dashboard is a visual representation of key data points and performance metrics designed to provide at a glance insights and support data-driven decision making. So the keywords there, the first one we have there is that it is giving you a visual representation of your key data points and performance metrics, and it should give you at a glance insights. That means as I'm looking at your dashboard, I should be able to derive insight. I should be able to understand what you are trying to say. That means your dashboard should not be too clumsy. It should not be too boring. It should not be too, too wordy, full of words. Whatever is not necessary should be removed from your dashboard. And remember that when I'm looking at a dashboard, I am not ready to click on anything. I just want to see and say, okay, from what I'm seeing on the screen, I can see that this is this and this is this. If I now need further information, I can now say, okay, instead of the south that I'm seeing on the screen, can I click on the east? Can I click on the west? I can now interact with the filters. Right. So what are the steps to create a basic dashboard using Microsoft Excel? The first thing is that you have your data sets. Of course, your data set can come from CSV file. It can come from Microsoft Excel. So if it comes from CSV file, you have to, import it into Microsoft Excel. And then you now start working on it. It can also come from, from other sources, depending on the kind of data you are using. So when you receive your data set, the first thing you should do is to clean the data sets. That means you should remove the blanks, fix data types, use proper, use stream, just make sure that this data that you want to work with is good enough for me to use. That means if you have outliers, you should know how to manage them. That means if the data you have, for example, the age is maybe between 25 and 45, and somebody has imputed his age to be 650, you should know that that is a red flag. So what will you do with that kind of data? So just make sure that your data is good enough for you to analyze. And then you should convert your data to Excel table. It makes it more interactive, more interesting, just for dynamic referencing. And then how do you convert your data to table? Just Control T. Once you receive your data, you launch it in Excel, just press Control T, and then it gives you that option to say, do you have header in your data? And then you click yes, and that is it. Then after receiving your data, you're changing it to a table, add a new sheet, and you can now rename it as maybe performance dashboard, and then you press enter. Then you can start creating whatever you want to create. Of course, you should use a clean professional layout. when you're creating your dashboard, it should have title at the top. You should have sections for KPIs. KPI is key performance indicator. You should have charts. You should have, the visuals that would communicate effectively to your audience. Not every audience will understand every type of visual. Some are very easy to use, some are very easy to understand. I don't want to go and confuse your audience. You don't want to go and show how, how strong you are with data. No, the important thing is for you to pass this information to your audience, not showing out your skills. Make sure that what you are showing them is what they would understand. Right. And the next one I would say is you should add KPI cards using formulas. That means you have things like average product. For example, like the dashboard we created, we have a section where you can just input the staff name and it gives you you can input the staff ID and it gives you the name of that staff or the name of that customer. So of course you can use formula to also have, once I input the staff name, the staff ID, it gives me the staff name, it gives me the average sold by that staff, it gives me the total sold by that staff, it gives me the salary of that staff, it gives me the department of that staff, just by inputting the staff ID. And of course, you should use your formulas, use the sum ifs, average ifs, count ifs, use conditional formatting, use your pivot tables, use the filters, use your visuals well, and then manage your space. Manage your space. You are creating a dashboard, you are not creating a spreadsheet. So a dashboard should be seen on the screen. That means I should not have to scroll to see what you are trying to, to display. So you should use your different types of charts, the column bar charts, the line chart, use your slicers. Some organizations don't like to see pie charts because they believe it's not good enough to show, the analysis. So if your organization does not like, for example, it's not part of what you should use, then you shouldn't use it, because you should try and communicate with your audience. You should try and carry them along. So if a pie chart is a turn off for your audience, then you should make sure you don't have it. And then what else should you use? Use consistent fonts, consistent colors, alignments. Make sure that your visuals are properly aligned. One should not be at the right top and the other one is just 2 inches off from it. Make sure they are looking well aligned. You should apply conditional formatting to highlight key numbers. For example, you're looking at staff performance and some staff are not performing well. You should be able to highlight those ones with maybe red. People performing below the average, you should be able to highlight and say, okay, these people are not performing well. So at a glance, I can see that, or your audience can see, that. And then you should use named ranges for dynamic titles or values. That means convert your data set to a table so that when you are referencing it, it is taking the name of that column and then it looks more presentable. Now, what are best practices for Excel dashboards? Best practices. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I heard from someone, he said the best form of sophistication is simplicity. Simplicity is the best form of some sophistication. You may think white and blue is too simple a color, but if I create a flyer with just white and blue, it may look so professional. Why? Because it is simple and it is just straight to the point. So keep your dashboard simple. Focus on key metrics. Avoid clutter or too many visuals. You are not here to show how experienced you are as a data analyst. You are only here to communicate insights to your audience. So it is only what they need to see on the screen, on the dashboard, that you should present to them. We know you can use conditional formatting, and we know you can use it a lot. but don't use conditional formatting and say anyone that is above 2, make it green. Anyone that is above 3, make it purple. And then you now have so many colors on your dashboard. That does not show professionalism. Keep it simple. Use consistent design. Most organizations, most standard organizations, they have formats. You want to create a PowerPoint presentation, they have a template you can follow that you should follow. You want to create an Excel dashboard, they have a template you should follow. So don't go outside of the format of your organization. You are working with an organization that the color is orange. Don't go and bring a purple dashboard. It turns management off. So follow, the templates that your organization is using. And of course, make it interactive. Let them be able to interact with your dashboard. You should have, filters. You should have slicers. Just make it as interactive as possible, but not too busy. Add slicers or drop-down filters to allow users to explore your data. Automate where possible. Automate where possible. That means if one filter can do the job, don't put 4, don't put 3. If I can use one filter to drill down to just the south, don't make me choose south on the pie chart and still go to the bar chart and still choose south. If one filter can do the work, then make it one. Label clearly. You are looking at performance for the month, and the data itself is showing performance for the year. That is not good enough. That means you should make sure you proofread your dashboard. Look at it again and again and again. Be sure that when you have kilometer, is actually kilometer. When you have naira, it is actually naira. When you have years, it's actually years. And when you have months, it's actually months. You don't want to go and put a salary column and you put years at the back of it. So you're talking about 20,000 years. That doesn't make sense. So you should label your visuals clearly. All charts should have titles, axis labels, and legends. Once you have different colors on a particular visual, you should have legend to say, okay, if you are looking at the green means good. You're looking at the orange means average. All those things should be on the visual, so I don't have to ask you for an explanation. And then, of course, use conditional formatting or KPIs to show variances or alerts or outliers. You should use those tools to show them easily. And then I would say you should know your functions as a data analyst or as an analyst using Microsoft Excel. Know your functions. You should know how to use your VLOOKUP, your XLOOKUP, your COUNTIFS, SUMIFS, left, right, mid, text, is blank, and just know your functions. And of course, we've covered a whole lot of them in our previous videos. And then always convert your raw tables into Excel tables for better formatting and easier referencing. Validate your data, always clean data before analysis, remove duplicates, handle missing data, correct formats, and the likes. If you have dates colon, make sure the format is indeed dates. And then document your work. Documentation is one part that analysts at times forget, because you can leave that role, you can change job, you can change department, you can change organization. The next person coming should be able to know that, okay, this is how far you have gone. This is what you have done while you are working on this particular dashboard. This is what this one means. To calculate this particular function, this is what you used. Document it properly so that if I go through your handover, I should have limited questions to ask you as an experienced analyst. Make sure you document properly. Then try and learn keyboard shortcuts. It makes you faster and more professional. You should know how to use control, shift, and the likes. Then practice storytelling. You are going before management to present the dashboard to them. You should be able to storytell. You should be able to tell them from the beginning to the end, this is what this dashboard is showing. So this is a sample dashboard. And we can see how simple it is, not clumsy. Although the title is not, it's not full, but you can, let's say it is performance metrics or performance dashboard for May 2025. You can put it as your title. You have total revenue, total profit, total units sold. You have a simple pie chart telling you the distribution, north, east, southwest. And then you have the line chart and you have the slicer here. So if I click on 2022, it shows me. And then if I click on the 2023, it's also, affects the entire, all the visuals on the screen. Simple, but I can read everything. I can see the legend. I can see the blue is for the north, the south is orange, the blue, the lighter blue is east. Simple and professional. And finally, I would say as an analyst, be curious. Be curious. If you have opportunity to work on a different data set that will not break you, you have the opportunity and you know that it is still within, what you can accommodate in your workload, I will say go for it. You can only become better when you work on more data sets. If you have not worked on, for example, on sales data before, and the person working on it has gone on leave, and they are asking you, will you be able to, will you give it a try? Say, yes, I'll give it a try. And you can always ask questions. And by the time you finish, you must have learned one or two things. And whatever you know, nobody can take it away from you. You are changing organization, what you know remains with you. So I would say be curious as an analyst. And when you're looking at dashboards, ask questions. Ask questions and look for ways to improve. Okay, yes, we have displayed this as a dashboard for this month, but is there something we can do better before the next meeting? Is there a way we can present the data better? Is there something we are missing? I mean, look at the data and say, okay, is there something that we can just do better from this before the next performance meeting? It shows your dedication, it shows your seriousness, and it shows that, yes, if they give you an assignment, you will be able to handle it.